Let's see a great example of using weight to our advantage, as if we're a sumo wrestler. So what are we going to do? Let's say that my path selection from router 1 to get to this autonomous system and routes in that autonomous system, specifically the 209.165.200 network. All of my traffic to that destination is going through R4, but I don't want it to be that way. I instead want it to go through R2. So what I could do is I could say, I want for the 209 network, when received from R2, to have a higher weight. I want it to have a higher weight. So let's see how to make this happen. At the top of our configuration, we have a prefix list. And if we're reading this prefix list, AS 65,020 routes, that's this autonomous system here, and that network, the way to read that, because we have an LE, so it changes the way it works. This would be interpreted as mask less with a mask less than or equal to 28. So that's what that prefix list says. Great. So that's probably going to account for any of these routes here, and we're saying we don't want like a /29 or a /30 route. We don't want to hear specific routes to that degree. So we build that prefix list, and then we go into a route map. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach this route map to routes from R2. So we say match, and the name is RM set weight. I'd prefer to uppercase weight here, permit 10. So if we match under a permit, we won't be filtered, and we may have things change, such as our attributes. So we are matching the prefix list that I just walked you through up there. We are attaching a weight of 150. So that is quite a bit higher than the default, which is 0. Then a second sequence, permit 50. Now here we do not see a match statement. What does that mean? If we see a sequence with no match, what does that mean? Be confident with this one. That says match any or all, whatever you want to say. So that's going to hit everything else. And if you didn't have this sequence number, you would be filtering all other routes. This has affected me. Be careful. Open it up. If you're trying to manipulate something, you do that in sequence 10, have another sequence that allows the rest of the routes. So we are allowing the rest of the routes because this is a permit, and then the weight is 100. So that's impactful to us. It probably means that we're not going to use R4 for anything. But let's complete the config discussion. We go to our neighbor, and that is R2, and we attach this route map, RM set weight, case sensitive, keep that consistent, that looks good, in. This is important to understand that we wouldn't do this in the outbound direction. You cannot influence weight in the outbound direction because it is not advertised. So it is only when you're receiving routes that you can modify these values. So we say set weight in, looks good. And so what will happen is, to get to that destination, we'll go through router 2 now, because it has a weight of 150 versus 0. We haven't seen any manipulation for routes received from R4. It does also have another weight that we could see for other networks, and that would be 100. So to get to all other networks, we would also be going through, put that in a better spot, we would also be going through router 2. That might be good, that might not be, okay? So understanding how to read and craft these route maps is really important, and this is a good example of the basic building blocks to influence the BGP weight attribute.